And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast. And Ninja, you got the wrong lake. I guess you know that already. Um, we're
Yes.
take two for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. And Ninja said as soon as I said the word that old devil, then her computer was shut down by one of those Freemasons down under. You know, they're more despicable in many ways. In concentration, they're all despicable, you know. But as far as concentration goes, it's a lot even more extreme down there with what they're doing, you know, to her and to in general, you know, because they know like this is a playground, but that's even a worse playground. Let's put it that way, you know. And yes, I want to ask deserts its full meaning. Okay. I guess you're talking about up above. So okay, I wanted to finish my and welcome back everybody. Thank you for hanging in there with us. I think you've got the trick down now how to get back on with us when you get dropped permanently from or we all get dropped and you go back to the broadcast and you go to the home page and you wait. Just keep refreshing it. It takes about 10 minutes for Ninja to ramp it back up, and then you'll see it there to live and you'll be able to get on. So thank you for hanging in there. We're the um, well, we've got nowhere else to go, I guess, right? That's why we're all here. So we know there's nothing out there for us, and so we're just hanging in there for trying to make sense out of a bad world, and that's what we do here. So I wanted to share the aspect of the devil when Yahshuah was talking to his friends. He was in Alexandria, staying at Philo's. Philo is the great um, historian philosopher who basically gave us that big book, just like Josephus. There's another big book, Philo, and Philo was contemporary and a friend of Yahshuah. And he wrote 1,000 pages, actually more than that. They've sliced a lot of his stuff out and changed a lot of words like they do in our scriptures. But nonetheless, Philo, he was his buddy, and he saved his life in the temple one day as well. So it's one of those missing pieces. But here in the original gospel, we find Philo. We actually find Philo, and he's staying at his house where all the seven sages came to meet. And this is part of the legacy that's been hidden away from us, and it's so important. And so, because of the disruption, I'm not going to read the whole chapter now. I'm going to just go down to the lower part and just read that about the devil, because here it says what verse do I want to start in? Okay, the new age the new age. That's what Yahshuah ushered in, a new age. Okay, calls for true freedom, the kind that makes each man. Well, I'm going to back up one more because I see it mentions priesthood here. This is such an interesting part of the story, you know, and it's not that long. So I think I'll go ahead and read it. It's chapter 56 in the Aquarian, which is the original gospel, and it is the Q source. And they've done a major work deceiving us, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom line, in every age since time began, seven sages lived. And we've never heard about that anywhere else before, did we? But this is how the ancient traditions were kept alive. We especially can find it in Persia with the wise men in Persia. They had a cave they called the Cave of Treasures, and in there they were That's why the wise men came 1,000 miles on camel, 1,000 miles to visit a baby and to give him a piece of their wealth as gifts, because they had been waiting and waiting and waiting for the coming one. It wasn't just Israel, pseudo Israel. You know, it was other parts of the world were also waiting for the Redeemer. It was a universal knowledge. It was written in the stars. Okay, it was written in the stars, and the people knew the true story that one day a Savior would come to save mankind. So here goes. They're at Philo's house. In every age since time began, have seven sages lived. At first of every age, these sages met to note the course of nations, peoples, tribes, and tongues, to know how far towards justice or focusing light, love, and perfection in the flowing light, righteousness, the race had gone, to formulate the code of laws religious postulates and plans of rule best suited to the coming age. An age had passed, and it is truth. Another age had come. The sages must convene. Now, again, at Alexandria was the center of the world's best thought. And here in Philo's home, the sages met. Now Yahshuah just had come from Hierapolis and met his greatest test in the Hebrew temple in Hierapolis. They were Hebrews. There were hundreds of thousands of Hebrews in Meitzar at the time. Okay, it was just like the backyard of Israel. It was proliferated culture. I see that buffering's trying to happen again. Okay, so from China came Mengste. From India, give us an audio check if there's a problem. Okay, let us know if I have to stop. Okay, we're buffering. That ring is going. From China came Mengste. From India, Vidyapati came. From Persia, Casper came. From Assyria, Ashbina. Okay, we got buffering. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm doing a test. Testing 1, 2, 3. How are we doing here? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. How we doing? Give me an audio check. Bhagi Gandhi Rashish got his special memo, and he's working overtime now to shut us down. It just went back to green. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. And from China came Mengste. From India, Vidyapati came. From Persia, Casper came. And from Assyria, Ashbina came. From Greece, Apollo came. Apollo is mentioned in our New Testament, okay? So it's all evidence of its original source, ladies and gentlemen. Matino was the sage of Medecine, Egypt. And Philo was the chief of Hebrew thought. Yeah, that's a fact. Got to read that. Take a lifetime. The time was due. The council met and sat in silence 7 days. And then Mengste rose up and breathed. The wheel of time has turned once more. The race is now ready for the higher plane of thought. That's what Yahshuah ushered in. The garments that our fathers wove have given out. The cherubim have woven a celestial cloth, have placed it in our hands, and we must make for men new garments. Talk about white robes. The sons of the seed of the moon are looking up for greater light. No longer do they care for deities carved out of wood, made of clay or metal. They seek a deity not made with hands. They see the rays of a coming age, and yet they cannot comprehend it. The time is ripe, and we must fashion well these garments for the race. And let us make for Ashan new garments of focusing light. That's justice, mercy, perfection in the flowing light, that's righteousness, and Chervain love. Chervain is divine. That they may hide their nakedness when shines the light of this coming age. And Vidyapati breathed. Our priests have all gone mad. Yeah, they have, haven't they? They saw a phantom in the wilds, and at him cast their lamps, and they are broken up. And not a gleam of light has any priest for Ashan. The night is thick black. The heart of India is crying for light. The priesthood cannot be reformed. It is already dead. Its greatest deeds are for the graves and for the funeral pyre and chanting. The new age calls for true freedom, the kind that makes each man a priest of his own, enables him to go alone and lay his offering on the shrine of the Yahweh. And Caspar breathed. in Persia, people walk in fear. They do the good only for fear to do the wrong, and that's what we saw them do when I read yesterday. You know, about how the priests they didn't want to kill Yahshuah. They were afraid to kill him, so they took him out of the gate, out of beyond the walls, down on the main road, and dumped him there. And they said, let's just hope that a beast might eat him up. But they weren't going to touch him because they were afraid. They were superstitious, you know, even though, and they knew they were doing wrong also. So they'll do the right only for fear of doing the wrong, you know, not because they can surrender to the higher power. And here it says devil, but correctly it means, you know, that adversary. The devil, that adversary, is the greatest power in our land. Fear, through a lie, he dandles on his knee both the youth and the aged. Our land is dark, and because of this, blindness prospers in the darkness. Fear rides on every passing breeze and lurks in every form of life. The fear of evil, or, you know, and we don't have original text, so we don't know, you know, what it really said, what he's translating this from. So it could be, you know, evil is a blindness, and darkness also, and it's a veil over the eye. So the fear of darkness is a myth, you know, or like the fear of the unknown, right? Is a myth, is an illusion and a snare. But it will live until some mighty power will come to raise the ethers to the plane of pure light. When this will come to pass, the Magian land will be illuminated in that light, and the soul of Persia calls for this light. And that was chapter 56, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so they're talking about the devil there, and that's an illusion. What happens when you know, when we're little, right? We're afraid of the darkness, right? Oh, you know, can somebody turn on the light? And when you turn on the light, oh, nothing's there. Nothing's there. They are breaking the speech on your end. Okay, has it improved, Anna? Is it getting better? Kev is it's muggy. You're giving the weather report over there. Okay. Alrighty. So okay, Anna had some questions, so let's do that. I've got facts are facts, but I may hold that till after our special read. I got to do that special read. I got to finish it today, so I'm going to hold facts are facts for a little bit. And all right, so I got follow up for Anna also. You know, so she just gonna have to send her a paycheck, I guess, for all the contribution she's making here. All right, so let's go back up. Anna, you have questions? Okay, Anna, her first one was, and then I'll do the other follow-ups I had here. Actually, you know, I want to do this one, is because Anna, you know, it was really interesting. Before I do your questions up there, am I coming through, Anna? Okay, because you said my speech is breaking up. I'm waiting for an audio check because I'm now addressing your issues and don't want to have you miss it. So, okay, sound 10 on the phone, and any other audio check? Waiting, standing by, audio check, Anna, and or Kev, how's it on your end? Give me an audio check, okay? We're you know, anything that can happen will happen, and usually does happen because we have a way of saying it that somehow Bhagyi Gandhi just doesn't like it. And but I'm not hearing from anybody. What's going on? Nobody's giving me an audio check. What's going on? Audio check, come on. Sounds 10 on the phone. Audio check. Ninja, put audio check in there. Okay, and either they're not getting it or they are getting it. So do me a favor and type that in there. But nobody's hearing me? Okay.
I'm hearing you.
It is in shutters. Is that proper English? What? No. All right. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing. Okay. Anybody else give me an audio check? Is it shuttering on your end? Anybody else out there? There's, we have a limited audience today, so okay, I do hear you, but they're breaking the speech. So Anna, why don't you try refreshing? Try refreshing, okay?
That's why I checked on my phone here, because I didn't want to interfere with it on the computer.
Yeah.
So it's fine here. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get her to refresh. Let's do a test. And so we're standing by, Anna. I'm not going to answer your questions if we're not going to get it right. Okay, come on. All right, yeah, and it's wonderful being at the end of the world, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, finally get through all this, and we'll be done with it. And well, the bogeyman, the bogeyman. That was Laurel and Hardy, the Jewish comedy team, and the bogeyman was the Jew, right? Yeah, of course. You refreshed it, okay? So how we coming through? How is it? How are we coming through? Testing 1, 2, 3. Did that fix it? Did that fix it? Did that fix it? Testing 1, 2, 3. Getting ready to answer your questions. Anna wanted it to be good on your end. So give me audio check. Come on down. Audio check. Breaker 19. You got a copy on me?
Sorry.
What's going on down there? You need to back up? Oh, it's okay now. Very good, Anna.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Let me just get that gears going now, okay? So, Anna, so your name is, I told you yesterday means harvest, but it's really it's one of the most powerful anagrams, and so A-N-N-A. But let me do it like this. Let me show you first. Okay, A equals O. Okay, let's start with that. So on the bottom, you have answered. Yes, you have answered. That's correct. Am I missing something here? All right. A equals O. Why does A equals O? Because A is a compass, the architect's compass. And what does the architect's compass do? It creates a circle, right? So hiding below the A is the O. And they are the two primary vowels. E and I and U, and the L and the R, the two secret vowels, the L and the R. Okay, those are secret vowels. They're really special, actually, in regard to the mystery of words and how they're using them. But the A and the O are the primary, and they're one. They're one and the same. In other words, they're like twins, but they're different ways of reflection. Okay, A and O, but they both come together. Okay, in the mystery. So I wanted to say that because now when we see that we make an anagram, we can change the letters around and get the other hidden meanings. So Anna equals harvest. Okay, Anna equals harvest. And that's why when we talk about harvesting words, we talk about anagram, harvesting words. But look at what's hiding in that arrangement. As the A is the O, we end up with noon. Okay, and so literally the implication then is the harvest of light. So that's the primary implication. In other words, we talk about what we're doing down here, right? What we got going on. But wait a minute, what about the one who made this universe? Has he got something going on? Maybe his mission is more important than our little mission, of feeding ourselves, plowing, feeding the animals, all that we do. But what's he doing? He's got a harvest going on. It's a bigger harvest. He's harvesting mankind. We're just plowing a little field and harvesting a little tomato and a little bit of bell pepper and some onions, but there's a bigger harvest, and the harvest is the harvest of light, because light has produced everything that we see. and most people don't get the picture of what's really going on, and so they think that they're animals, and they're just down here feeding like animals and acting like animals, and don't have any hope for a harvest, the true harvest, because the harvest is we, and we want to be harvested into the light, back to the light where we had originally came from. Okay, so it is. So so you got a power name, Anna. It's noon, and then we see the element of noon in the word moon as well. And that's where you were asking Kev a little while ago. What did he was using Yal Moon? I think he was using Yal Moon with the T on moon, and because we see moon also is Moonth. Moonth. Okay, right there it is. So the breath, the royal breath, is at the end of it, right? So at the end, then it goes back to the sun day, goes back to the light, the sun. And so there's there's a lot can be said there, but I just wanted to share that. So let me go now and answer your first top question. Am I coming through okay, Anna? Are you getting this? Okay, so Anna said, my question was about when and by whom the holy texts were translated into Indo-Germanic languages. My first question was about when and by whom the texts were translated into the Indo-Germanic languages. Okay, well, specifically Aramaic, we defined that yesterday, the Arche Malik. The Arche Malik is the original word for Aramaic, and so it's getting hot over here. Forgive me, I got to take off my vest. Ugh. Put it behind my chair. Okay, that's the real radio. Where we get the job done, but we do it on a song only and a prayer. And I'm so grateful for your contributions and prayers out there for us creating light. And so Anna, you didn't oh yeah, she said yes, good. Okay, so the question, let me look at that again, is what about and by whom the texts were translated into Indo-Germanic? Okay, that's a good question, because it actually, I thought about doing a mini presentation today on a certain topic, and now I think I need to do it. Okay, I think this is the right time. This is the right question, and I was wondering whether I should go somewhere, and now I know I should. Let me just do one more thing here. I gotta switch my shoes out because I'm getting overheated, and I don't want to get up and adjust the dial over there. I just want to stay with the program here. So okay, so I got to tell a little story. Okay, basically what's going on. Okay, we have a tree. I'm going to type it in there. A tree. And we have vine. Okay, we have a tree and a vine. And so what happened is that we are on the tree. We're on the tree. All of us. And we are the tree. We have a family tree, right? We have a tree with our family. It goes back to the beginning, way back. And so the tree represents different things at different times, depending upon our discussion. But in this sense, we are the tree. Creation is the tree. That's where we talk about the word tray, Tray, Vyghhnn, Travain. Okay, there's the tree on the vine. Okay, but the vine, notice which we pronounce vein in the Indo-Germanic. You see, it's got the GH. Remember, I talked about right in the middle of your keyboard. You got the GH, and it's their code that they use. It's a code. The G represents the golden light. The H represents the breath that breathed into the sun and ignited it, right? And so it's the spirit that's behind the sun, the logo. So the tray vein, the tree and the vine. So the vine has within it the element of the return. the GH. VAY is the way. So literally, vein is the way of return that came down. Okay, so VAY equals the way, WAY, the way, GH of the RETURN of the return, and then the two ends, like you saw in Anna and in the in noon. Okay. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. M and N that came down. Okay. So the M is two ends, or two ends are the M. And that's why sometimes, like in the Germanic, when we see this word, it is in the more primitive German or Deutsch, you know, the okay, so the ends are typically together, just like two L's, you know, the L's typically are together, showing the duality. Okay, so what it means when it said came down, what came down? The two powers. Okay, so NN equals the TWO powers. Okay, what two powers? Well, the positive and the negative, the light and the darkness, the male and the female, the yin and the yang, the up and the down. So there's a duality that came down, and it's seen in the V, right? We see that V all the time showing up, and there's the let me type that in there, the left and the RIGHT, the left and the right. Okay, there we see it, the two pillars coming down to a point in the V. There's the two powers coming down, the left and the right, and they come together and they mix, right? They mix. And sometimes the darkness looks like the light, and sometimes the light looks like the darkness. We're a little bit confused. What's going on here? You know, good guys are you know, these people who say they're good guys act like they're bad guys, and you know, and people like Desert-Owl get beaten up for his funny name, you know. So what's going on here? And so it's all an enigma. But when we get back to the source of light, our Redeemer, our Maker, then you know we can have it revealed. It's not that you can figure it out; it's that He is the revealer. Okay, that is Yahshuah, and He is the vine. Number one, He is the vein. Right? When we talk about going mining in a cave, we talk about the vein. The vein is what we're looking for, right? We're looking for the gold, the vein. We're looking. Oh, there's the vein. On this big mountain, we find this little vein that is so precious. You know, we will never have to work again if we can find it. We'll be at rest, right? That's the metaphor for being in Yahshuah, being at rest. So on the tree, this big tree of creation, and we know there's a tree of knowledge and a tree of life. So this is the tree of knowledge that we're talking about. It's a tree of knowledge. But the problem is we're so dense today, and we're so corrupted and so mind controlled and so propagandized that we can't figure things out. We're just really stupid. And so it has to open up for us, because right in front of us is a book, but we don't know how to read it. And so this tree, this giant tree of creation, upon it is a vine. Now, when we go out, and like when I lived in East Texas, out there with my lake house, you know, before I lost it thanks to double troubles that came in and did a number on me, then you know, it was quite a deal. But in the meantime, I had a little paradise out there with a lake and a dock on the lake and all that. And when I went into the woods, I would see the grapevine. We had wild grapes in East Texas that were, so the grapevine, you know, climbed the tree. It went up on the side of the tree, and then it hung over the branches so that it could get life. So the vine was dependent upon the tree. It wouldn't survive on the ground. it had to go up a tree. And actually, if you were thirsty and you were in, where there was no water, you could cut the vine and you could get water out of the vine. It would drip through. Well, that's right. And a program not to question anything. And so what was required was for a vine to come down through time on this tree. And so Yahshuah is the beginning of the vein, which is the vine, which is the vineyard, the vine, which is the way. Because the vine goes for the ride. It capitalizes on the tree by going along with the tree, going for the ride. And so Yahshuah then chose a particular race of people that were supposed to bring the truth of the gold to mankind about who we are, where we are, why we are, and when we are. And so that was the Aryan race. That was Adam. He was the bright and shining one, not some invisible creature called Lucifer. It was Adam who was up in the throne of the sun, falsely called Eden, correctly called the Atom, A-T-O-M, who, while Yahshuah made all things on earth for millions and millions and millions of years, and there was different processions of creation, different epics of, destruction and creation. And through all of that process, Adam was with him naming all things. And so he was instructed, obviously, when the gnosis was breathed into his nostril, the nasal ray was the pure breath of Yahshuah breathing into him, and then he took him up into the star, took him into the light. And just to clarify, we have many stories about followers of the way going back to the light. Enoch was taken up into the light. When you read his visions of how he was taken up, he was taken into the throne of the sun. Even Yalganun, John, in the lost writings of the Essene, has one where he was taken up into the throne of the light, of the sun. Even Paul, when he said he was taken up to the third heaven and he saw things that were impossible for him to repeat. Well, guess what? We are the third from the sun. And so when he says the third heaven, he means the source. He was taken up to the source. So this is nothing unique or, in this presentation, because the light is the house, the main house. And because we've been conditioned to think of it as a biological creation, we don't think of it as a spiritual house, as the logo. Nobody ever told it other than here. I've never heard anybody ever tell me that the sun is the logo, or that Yahshuah is the sun that is the sun that is the logo. The son of a family, what they're telling you is he's a star. He represents the sun because he gets the inheritance. So we've been totally disconnected from all of these relevant primary thoughts. So the Aryan race through Adam had the knowledge. That's why they could build these giant megalithic structures around the world, the fallen ones, the fallen Aryans that decided they had so much knowledge that they knew they could conquer the world, they could take it over. And because they became sensually motivated, they didn't care about their spirituality anymore. They were blinded by their own beauty, their own makeup, their own knowledge, their head knowledge. It was their liability. And so the Watchers fell, but in spite of the fact that most of them fell, there was a line that maintained. And that's the line that we see that Enoch goes all the way to Enoch through Jared and Seth, and Enoch was the 7th and the 8th, because it depends upon whether you include Abel. If you include Abel, then he's the 8th. But if you just start with Seth, then he's the 7th from Adam. Okay? So that's again showing another aspect of duality is 7 and the 8. 7, the number of perfecting. I don't know if it's perfection or perfecting, because that what we do down here is we perfect our ways in order to become one with the great Father of light. 8 is the number of return. So after you've put on the perfection, then you can go back, you can return after you've gotten rid of all the idiocy and nonsense that plagues us. And so what was being preserved then is the vine, because the vine was still growing. The vine from Adam through Seth, the third son. So notice how Seth represents the third son, which represents the third age that was to occur at the end of time when Yahshuah rose from the dead. He came back and he offered life to mankind because he destroyed the curse of death. But you had to become the second born. And so the vine is coming down through Enoch, then through Methuselah, which means math is truth. Math is truth. The truth that comes down through the vine to the healing root. To the healing root. Shalat. A shalat is a root that you can eat, and it's very strong and very powerful and medicinal. So it's the shalat. And so Methuselah, the royal eye. So the truth of the royal eye that came down with the healing root. That's Yahshuah. That's why Methuselah represented the tax collector, because rather than be a corrupt Levitical priest, he'd rather be a good, honest tax collector. You see, so he was disenchanted, just like we talked yesterday about how nobody wanted nothing to do with that false priesthood who was oppressing them and taxing them for every penny they could get out of them. And the Essenes would rather go live in caves. Levite rather go be a tax collector and serve the Romans. But when he got the call from Yahshuah, he got up from the table and never looked back. So Matthew, I'm talking about, is really Methuselah in the New Testament, in the everlasting covenant. So the vine is coming down. The vine is coming down through time, and then ultimately it ends up in the hands of Nova, not Noah, Nova, for a new star. Because what Nova is going to usher in after the great flood is the second great age, a new star, a new age, not the final age, but the next age after the flood, after that old world was destroyed by the flood. And so he's carrying the vine with him, the vein. And so then it goes through Asham, who is mispronounced as Seth, which would be Asham, and Asham then through his granddaughter Tamar, who had to play the harlot with Judah because he wouldn't give his third son to her, right? The third son, again, symbolism. And so she plays the harlot to get the seed from Judah directly, who represents the son, because Judah is the lion. Youthah, the word youth is there. It's not Judah. There's no J. That's how the Jews corrupted it. They love the J because they got J in their name, Jew. You see? That's how you know who corrupted it. It's Youthah, the Y, for youth, for perpetual youth, perpetual. Come on, the sun never gets old, never gets tired, right? Keeps on shining. That's the power that Yahshuah has. Unending. Always young. Like when we were 18 years old. Remember how that felt? You felt like you were superhuman. Well, we're going to do names on the cosmic essence. And okay, I want to just do this verbally right now because this is wearing me down, and I still got that read I got to do. So I've got to pace myself. I don't want to type right now. I want to talk and tell the stories. Okay, so hang in there with me. And because this is a story that's not been told, you asked the right question, and now I'm giving you the answer. Okay, And so the vine is coming down, because you asked the question. Again, is this. My first question was about when and by whom the sacred texts were translated into the Germanic languages. Okay, so the story is being preserved. In other words, Enoch, when he came back from the throne of the sun, when he came back, he brought back 365 books with him. We find that in the book of Enoch. You know, I don't know if it's first Enoch or second Enoch. And then there's also the one in the lost books of forgotten books of Eden, which is out of the second. I see that buffering going on again. The second book of Adam and Eve. At the end, we have part of Enoch's story in there as well. So what's going on? Are we? This was okay. Is it okay? We're okay, Ninja?
Yeah, it just went green again. It went very red, okay, and now it's green again.
All right. Just yes. Just real quick.
Okay.
And so anyway, so he had Enoch. He had 300 books. Can you imagine what would be in these books? Think about it. From that period of time, what we've lost, and so the knowledge was being preserved by this vine. A grapevine, because don't we, drink the sacrament? The sacrament is the wine, the grape that has been transformed into spirit, right? And so the grape is a part of the story. It was at the Last Supper, and he said, "I would not drink of the fruit of the vine." He would not drink of the fruit of the vine till he had come back, had returned. He returned, and then it said in the book of Acts, that they did eat and drink with him. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for the heads up. So that's basically the answer, Anna. That the Aryan race, who then brought it down from that period of time, speaking the original Indo-Germanic, which then had to become corrupted after the flood. And then ultimately, with the Roman Empire, first we could start with the priesthood out of Babylon, because then they came back with that corrupted alphabet. It had original pure intent at the beginning to create a unique form for their culture, for an identity, but then ultimately it identifies who the corrupt ones are, being the Jews, that pretend to be Israel and are not Israel, but are Khazars. And so they got us stuck in the Hebrew and Greek, but that's why when I'm taking it back to the Indo-Germanic, it's right in front of us. In other words, the pure alphabet, the ABCs, okay, this alphabet, A, B, which is really the V, AV, okay, AV, but became the B, and the G, which became the C. Let me do it like this: A, V, B, G, and then the C, and then the D, A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. Okay, that's the original alphabet. The Kabbalists perfected it. They came out of the closet with it, because when we see the old primitive Aramaic, we see something that looks rather crude. And in fact, not only is it rather crude, but they flipped it upside down, and then reversed the image. So they flipped it over and they flipped it again. And that's why, if you get the Indo-Germanic dictionary I did, and I show you with the word Adam, if you flip it over and you reverse it, you can see the modern A, D, M. You can see it. But this is how the game has been played, because it was a sacred text. It was a sacred text that was hidden from the common people. It was their mother tongue. It was their code. Okay? That's like why Lucifer means the true code, because the ancients are speaking in their own code, and they stole the original alphabet from us, and that's what they do. You know, that's their job. Everybody's got their job. I'm glad they got theirs, and I got mine, and I'm glad I got mine. You know, I'd rather be a truth teller and struggling like we do, but then, you know, rather than to be a scum of the earth like those people. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a sellout of mankind and an occultist, you know, going around trying to injure other people, thinking you've got some special power trip going on. Oh, and by the way, when I talked about the V coming down with those two powers, the left and the right, remember that one had all power and the other one had no power. No power, okay? So devils and demons and all of these things that go bump in the night are nothing. They're illusions. They're created by man. They're idols and images. In the mind or in stone or wood, it doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. They are nothing but illusions because there is only one power. Okay, you don't have it anymore, Anna? Okay, stand by. What's going on? Anna lost it? You back? All right, we've been having our regular trials today, so we're just standing by for a moment. We're trying. I think I answered the first question for you, Anna. In all files too. What's you don't have it anymore. Your computers were messed up totally. What is going on? Signal's good here. And all files. You lost all your data? Okay. Yeah, Anna's targeted over there in Finland. And so, okay, so Anna, what's going on? No, I'm talking about the book you sent me. Okay, I can email you. Okay, I can if you can hear me. Yeah, I think you can. Can you hear me? All right. Okay, good. So get me your email. You know how you can send it on the chat, and then I can delete it after you send it to me. But I can I'll send you some books again. All right. I do that by email on PDF. If that's the way we can get you our books, we can do that on PDF. All right. And so I hope I answered the first question that the everything came down through the Aryan race. And then then ultimately these primitive scriptures were translated, you know, whether into Hebrew, which became a corrupted dialect of the priesthood and the wealthy. The common people could not speak Hebrew. Okay, so it wasn't the pure tradition. Aramaic was the pure tradition, but the priesthood wanted to dominate, and they created a secret alphabet. You've lost all your files. Okay. Well, get me your email, not, you know, on the chat, but later on one of the, you know, the programs we did, and I'll get the notice, and or Ninja will get the notice and then forward it to me, and we'll delete it. Okay. You don't have a safe email. Well, how are we going to get you the books? Okay. All right. Get with me whenever you can do that. All right. So that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to go to a break here. But I just hope that I answered your question, that it came down through one source on a vine on the tree of mankind. And then once it finally came down to the later period of time, it went in different directions through different cultures. They translated it, you know, like I've got the Gothic New Testament. So Gothic, they had to create their own alphabet. They didn't even have an alphabet for Gothic. And then some guy, I don't remember his name, you know, is regarded as the one who gave the dictionary and the translation for the Gothic. There's, you know, different veins that it split. A tree branches off, you know, so the vine branched off on the different trees. And that's what happened. Okay, so that's the first question. Let's take a break, Ninja, and then when we get back, we'll do question number 2. I don't know if I'm going to get this read going here. I can't get that read finished. I may just have to cancel the read and people just have to get the book. We've been trying to get to the cosmic essence now for a while. So when we get back, okay, we'll do the next question. Okay, that's the problem. What's the problem? Oh, that you're being hacked. You're being yeah, they're playing with you. You need to get good security at your front door and on your back door, it looks like. So sorry to hear that, Anna. But we'll get you all the books whenever you know how we can do it. You know, if we can send it to a friend that you know that can get it to you, then just let us know. And you got our contact information. And Free America Radio is the Skype. We're looking at another audio system. Ninja's already checked it out. It looks just like Skype, but different. And I think it might be better. It's certainly not run by Microsoft, it looks like. So that's already a plus. All right. So we're going to a break. Give my throat a rest. And thank you for tuning in today on the difficulties we're having and hanging in there with us. We're going to get back and we'll answer the next question with Anna. Then we'll get on with the read. I'm not going to do any more words or anything. And I'll save the rest of my follow-ups with Anna for the next program, I think. Okay, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back in 5 minutes right here on Ask Desert Owl, what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. I'm glad you could stay with us. It seems we've ironed out the kinks, or they've given up trying to shut us down for the evening. Morgane, noon or night, wherever you are. You're listening to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. I'm NinjaCat. I'd like to recommend that you subscribe to all 4 channels on the screen. The links are in the description below every live stream. We're currently broadcasting live between the Cosmic Essence and Ask Dezert-Owl with NinjaCat. We're alternating between those 2 channels, and the other 2 channels are Desert's archived channels. They're all live streams. There's a lot of information there. It's amazing to listen to, so please check them out and subscribe to all 4 channels. Okay, no worries, Kev. All is good. All is good here at the moment, right now. I'll say that. Okay, and back to you, Desert.
Okay, thank you. Am I coming through okay? You're breaking up on Skype. Am I coming through?
Okay, yeah, just when I said back to you, Desert, can you hear me? It's come good again.
I hear you. Am I coming through okay now? Testing 1 2 3.
Yes.
Testing 1 2 3. Okay, thank you. Okay, and we need to change the graphic.
Yeah, you'll see that change in a sec.
Okay, all right. So Anna, I want to hold that second question, okay? Because I want to do the read. I want to see if we can knock out the read, since it's about a word. You know, that we could pick up again on the Cosmic Essence. So write that down and don't forget it. And I've got a few more follow-ups as well with you here, 3 of them, it looks like. But I want to do that read. I'm losing my voice, and we've got to do this, you know. So let me get to the final hours of Yahshuah. And then if I have time after, I still have some voice left, then we can get back to it. But let's do this for today. I said we would do it, and I want to keep my word as well. Okay, and welcome back, Kev. I see you had to go get your battery charged. Yeah, you can't do that at night, right? Okay, and let me see, where am I going here? Okay, there we go. Bringing it up. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so chapter 34. We have just 4 to go, and it is the final hours of the Messiah's untold story. All these words we use, you know, and none of them mean what we think they mean when we use them. It's just amazing. It's a convoluted soup, you know, and we have to keep working our way back to the vein, to the vine, to the original, because the original is superior. It's superior. Ashavors were never supposed to change. They always were a symbol. A symbol always was supposed to convey what it originally meant. You see how I dissected those terminologies, right? For I don't even remember what it was now. I was dissecting. What was that? Let me back up just to look real quick. Okay, on the you know, the Anna, the harvest, and then all those symbols, how they all start telling a story, right? And then it got into the tree and the vine, and then you can see the way Trevain is the tree and a vine, Trevain, and that's the word divine. You see that? Just I should have added that, but you know, Trevain, you've heard me use that terminology, and there it is, Trevine. You got to scroll back up about halfway, and you'll see it. Trevain, they corrupted into divine. In other words, the divided, die is a dissection, divine, died. There's the word death, divine. You see how they corrupted the original Trevain into divine. Divine, please. They want you to die. They want the vine of Yahshuah to die. They hate the Father. You see, and so that's why you hear me use the terminology. It's a little hard to wrap your mind around it at first and get used to it. But you like the word divine. I'm not saying you, Anna or anybody else here. I'm just, you in general. The people, they love the word divine. They think it's a good word, but I'm showing you it's a corrupt word. It's death. But Trevain, is the tree and the vine. They go together. The knowledge of light, not the knowledge of darkness, the die. So this is that was a perfect example, of the problem that we have, because they gave us pig Latin, darkness, but we're supposed to be speaking the seeds of light, and they are built upon the light seeds of what we call letters. In the 1800s, they didn't call them letters; they called them symbols. They call them symbols because they are symbols. And they are logos in that sense as well. Logos, symbols of light. Logos of light. Okay, so just wanted to add that. Now let me pull it up, because I'll probably use that word travain again in here. Very likely. So chapter 34, we're now on the final home stretch. Can I do it? That's the question. We'll find out. So what I'm doing for anybody new that's listening, I transliterate part in original thought, Indo-Germanic, which creates visual expressions that help you to get pictures, because that's how they spoke back then. Everything was in reference to something in nature. It was not abstract. It was not ambiguous. You could point to it and say, oh, there it is right there. Just like, in other words, it's built upon a lot of idioms, just like when we say here in America, at least, when your back is hurting and, you've been working too hard or something like that, then you go, oh, I'm stiff as a board. I'm stiff as a board. So if you went to Africa and you said that to somebody in that part of the world, and you said, I'm stiff as a board, they'd be going, what's he talking about? I don't know. He said he's stiff as a board. I don't know what your tree, or what do you mean? But we get it over here. He's stiff as a board means his back is hurting. He can't move, and so that's the way idioms work. And so therefore, sometimes the translator is translating the idiom literally when he should have interpreted what the idiom means, and then do the transliteration based on knowing what the idiom means. And the one example would be what? Okay, the perfect example is that all of the translations, none of them got it right in the story about when Yalganun, John the Albavatazar, John the Baptist, he said that regarding Yahshuah, that the one who comes, he was not worthy to bend over and to unloose his sandal. Now that's an idiom. And so not one translator except for yours truly right here got it right. And it goes back into the story of Ruth about the one who got his shoe loosed. Well, meaning that the elder brother or cousin was supposed to do honor to the deceased and marry the widow in order to give that family an inheritance. And so when Yalgenun is saying, the one who comes, whose sandal I am not worthy to untie or to unloose, literally meant the one whose inheritance I am not worthy to receive. You see? And that's the inheritance we're all being offered, that none of us are worthy to receive it, yet he is willing to give it if we will surrender to him. So you heard it here only, because none of the translations translated the idiom properly. And I bet you it's because they did it on purpose. And then those who didn't know well enough, who were trying to do other translations better, followed in line with the mistranslation and didn't recognize the idiom. I don't know how they could not have read it in Ruth. You know what I'm saying? But you see, that's how hard it is. That's how difficult it is for somebody to get all of it. That we may get it here and get it there, but we don't get it over here and over there. There's a lot to digest and a lot to wrap our minds around. But that's the perfect example, and so we got to correct that, because people rather than getting the picture of somebody untying a shoe, it's about getting the picture of receiving something from someone that is so great that we can't even untie their shoe, because untying their shoe means to receive their inheritance. All right, chapter 34. Let me take a and hope you're all doing okay today. Anna has got a tough thing going on over there, and Ninja had her computer crashed, and Kev, I know he's got it tough too, but he hangs in there with a great attitude. I really respect him. And what about all of you out there? You never call in. We don't hear from you, so we don't know who you are. We probably have, let's see, 6 people, so 2 of them are probably government agents, and the other 4 are friends. So that's usually the way it works in this world, you know. So, and that's okay. We welcome the bad guys as well, because they need to hear this stuff. And if they hear this stuff, they'll start realizing that they're scum of the earth, and maybe they'll start leaving Anna alone or Ninja alone, you know, because they're not going to get an inheritance. They think getting their phony paycheck is some special perk, right? Well, just wait till you're on your moment of your last breath, buddy, and then you'll find out you don't have a hope on earth to transcend this world to a better place, to the light your phony masonry got you to think you were getting. You know, what do you want, my son? Oh, master, my worshipful master, give me some light, please. I need some light. Yeah, here you go, Bubba. Here's a little token for you, a little false meaning of this symbol, and you won't ever understand it anyway, so don't worry about it. Just go ahead and leave me alone now, you 3rd-degree piece of garbage. Okay, yeah, Bubba, thank you very much. And that's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. They're on some little psychological power head trip, deceiving themselves, as we have with the first quote at the beginning. You know, that they base their entire existence upon lies, upon a lie, and they lie to themselves first. First, they got to really lie to themselves, and then they find it easier to lie to everybody else. And also to hate other people, because they also hate themselves, because they know they're liars, and they know they're sellouts, and they know that they're deceivers. And I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them, because when they get to their last breath, they know they sold their own soul for a little party, for a little head trip, for a little bit of opportunity to torture somebody so they could feel important and special. Chapter 34. Now the Malachal, the Malachalim, that's apostles. The Malachalim were at home in Galilee. The women stayed in Utah until the Pentecost. That's the 50th day. Until the 50th day, that's what it means. The penta, the 5, right? Okay, the star. So from his coming back, from his return, there is going to be now the result of what that term brought. And that return brought the Spirit. And so the Spirit is now on the threshold of being available to all mankind, whereas it was only once for the star navigator, misnomered as prophet. Even Saul, you know, spoke in tongues, in a foreign tongue, and as it say, used the term prophesied, but it wasn't prophecy. It was spoke truth. That's how they corrupted that terminology, you see. And they said, oh, and he prophesied. No, he didn't prophesy. That's like an abstract again, right? He spoke truth. That's what the Spirit causes us to do, is to speak truth. And it's not a part of any lie. Continuing. And Kephe, misnomered as Peter, there's another lie. We know what that's all about. And Kephe, James and John, Yalgenun and YoChelleG, and Andrew, Anthrav, and Philip, and Nathanael, were in Capernaum. They joined with Yonah and with Zebedee, and their boats went out to fish. They worked all night, and when the dawn came, they had no fish. And as they neared the shore, and Ashan stood on the shore and breathes, "How many fish do you have?" And Kephe answered, "None." Again, the Ashan called out and breathes, "A school of fish is passing now on the side of the light of your boat." The side of the light. See, it said the right side, but you see, there's the R and the L. We talked about the secret vowels, and they changed it to the right side when it should have been the side where the light is. Throw the net out where the light is on the side of your boat. The sun, on that side of the boat is the sun, and throw your net. Get the picture, okay? It's telling a story. It wasn't just a story. It's a story to tell a story. That you throw it out on the side where there is light. And what will happen is you'll be able to bring in a harvest. Anna, they cast their net, and it was filled. And Yalganun cried out, "It is the healer and the sunrise who is standing on the shore." And Kephe plunged into the sea and swam to the shore. The other Ashan brought the net, and it contained 153 fish, and yet it did not break. And that's a significant number, 153. I don't have that little book in front of me, but yeah, there's a story behind that. It was a specific number. And Yahshuah breathes, "My offspring, let us break our fast together here." And they found some living coals upon the beach, and Kephe brought and dressed the fish. They also had some bread. And when the meal had been prepared, they broke their fast, and Yahshuah ate of both the fish and the bread. Now, after break fast, all the Ashan were sitting on the beach, and Yahshuah breathes to Kephe, do you love the healer and sunrise, your YoChelleG, with all of your heart? And do you love your near brother as you love yourself?" And Kephe breathed, "Yes, healer and sunrise, I love my healer and sunrise, my YoChelleG, with all of my heart, and I love my near brother as I love myself." And Yahshuah breathes, "Then feed my Ashaf." My Ashaf is sheep, Ashaf. There you see the word Asha right there. It's a form of the word. It means the royal eye, again, but more than that, the royal eye of creation. Ashaf is the royal eye, and you hear the word staff is in there as well. And then he breathes to YoChelleG, James, "Do you love the pure anointed breath with all of your heart? And do you love your near brother as you love yourself?" And YoChelleG replied, "Yes, healer and sunrise, I love the pure anointed breath with all of my heart. I love my near brother as I love myself." Then Yahshuah breathes, "Protect my Ashaf." Now notice he didn't do it to Kephe 3 times. He's doing it to each of the main followers, the 3 witnesses that went with him everywhere. And then he breathes to Yalganun, John, "Do you love the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah, the Travain love now revealed with all of your heart? And do you love your near brother as you love yourself?" And Yalganun replied, "Yes, healer and sunrise, I love the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah, with all my heart. And I love my near brother as I love myself." And Yahshuah breathes, "Then feed my lambs." Then Yahshuah rose and breathes to Kephe, "Follow me." And Kephe followed him. When Kephe saw that Yalganun was following them, he breathed to Yahshuah, healer and sunrise, and him, Yalganun, who is following us. What will happen to him? So we see here that a certain part of the text was taken out. And it's the part where Yahshuah says to him in our received scriptures, Kephe, when you were young, you went anywhere you wanted to go, but when you are old, someone will bind you, and you will not be able to go where you want to go. and you will be made to do something you will not want to do. That's when he was crucified upside down. You see, in fact, he was going to be crucified right side up, and he says, "Oh, would you guys do me a favor and bury and crucify me upside down?" And so that's what he meant when he was going to be made to do something he wouldn't want to do. And so he was told how he was going to be martyred. And so here, when he says, and what about him, Yal-Ganun, who's following us? What will happen to him? Because everyone there was told, that they were going to be a martyr. And he says, now KOBO did not hear the mother star master when he breathes to Yal-Ganun, feed my lambs. And so the implication may be to remain and feed his lambs, because that's what he did. He lived on. And so, and Yahshuah spoke to KOBO and breathes, and he breathes, "It is no concern of yours what will happen to Yal-Ganun or what he will do, not even if I wish that he should remain while I am coming, for all mine. Just do your duty, follow me." And this word then went out among the brothers that this truth seeker would not, and here it is. You see, this is the answer, because in our other scriptures it was corrupted, and it said that he would not die. But that's not what it meant, that he would not die, but it meant what it says right here in this translation. And this truth seeker would not be martyred, that he was going to be the only one who would not be martyred. Okay? And that was his boyhood friend. They were friends from when they were little boys. And that's why it said that he loved him specially. He especially loved him because they were buddies from the beginning of their lives on earth. And but Yahshuah breathed was not that Yahshuah breathed was not that he should not be martyred, but he breathes, "If I wish that he should remain while I come, what difference does that make to you? Follow me." And Yahshuah disappeared, and they did not know where he went. The news soon spread through all Capernaum that Yahshuah had risen from the death, and that he had walked with his truth seekers by the sea and ate with them the Morgan meal. So great numbers went there to look for him. Now KOBO, Yal-Ganun, and YoChelleG, together with the other Eshan who had been called to the Malachim of the healer and sunrise, all went to the mountains near Capernaum to create light. And as they created light, the mother star came. They saw him and they spoke with him. He breathes to them, "The Pentecost is near at hand. Go back to YoChelleG, and I will meet you there." And as he talked, a large number of people came. They saw the healer and sunrise, and they breathed. You must see and read it for yourself. That's the terminology that is referenced to behold. They gave us this corrupted word behold, but behold means you must see and read it for yourself, because nobody can make you see. You have to see things yourself. For now we know that he, the Nazaré, has risen from the dead, for we have seen him face to face. Chapter 35. The 11 royal messengers of the healer and sunrise. Remember, that's what they corrupted from, with the word Lord. Lord means healer and sunrise. Okay? And this is the great switch out that they did with us, ladies and gentlemen. They gave us Pig Latin, and there was so much deepness in all these terminologies that they stole from us. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm going to be able to do it today. All right. So the 11 messengers of the healer and sunrise were in YoChelleG, and in a very spacious room that they had chosen by the healer and sunrise's instructions. And as they created light, the healer and sunrise appears to them and breathes, "The Shalom of peace be for all. Perfect intentions for every living creation." And then he talked with them a long, long time. And the truth seekers asked, "Will you now be restoring the royal house of the sun?" or the kingdom back to Eshrayulva. And Yahshuah breathes, do not be concerned about the governments of men. There you go. There you go. Let's read that one again. Do not be concerned about the governments of men. The mother star, master, will direct you. Do that which has been given you to do, and wait, and do not debate. Okay? You go, wait, and do not debate. All of the powers of the sun, earth, moon, and of the entire universe has been handed over to me. Let's hear that one again. All of the power of the sun, earth, moon, and the entire universe, all of the stars, has been handed over to me, Yahshuah. And so now I bid you to go into all of the world and proclaim the star message of the enlightenment of the Mudjekeewis, the Messiah, the oneness of the Yahweh and Eshan, the resurrection from the dead, and about eternal vivification, the Veta life. And as you go and make proclamation, Alvavatazer, baptize the people in the royal title of the Mudjekeewis. Those who follow and are Alvavatazer will rise up in the new nature of the life of the anointed. The new nature. That is the life of the anointed. What is the anointing? Truth. So the life of the anointed who speak truth. Not part lie, not part truth, but truth. But those who cannot follow won't rise up in the new age and nature of the life of the YoChelleG, the Messiah. Remember, in YoChelleG, you got the word Moses. You see, not in Messiah, not in Christ. It's YoChelleG, mole, that which goes round. That's what is centered at the mole. And a lot more can be said about that. Continuing here, though. And you will pass on to men the power, or onto Eshan, I should say. You will pass on to Eshan the power that I give to you. Those who follow and are Alvavatazer, baptized. You can appreciate that word when you got the word taser in there, right? Alvavatazer, transformed, struck down so you can come up again. Will heal the sick, will cause the blind to see, the deaf to hear, and the lame to walk. So those who follow and are Alvavatazer will heal the sick, will cause the blind to see, and everybody's sick, right? And everybody's blind, and the deaf to hear, and nobody can hear anything, and the lame to walk, and nobody knows how to walk. See all the metaphors here, right? We got to get the picture. And will cast the unclean natures of those obsessed. You will tread upon deadly serpents and will not be harmed. You will pass through the fire and not be burned. And if they drink a poisonous draught, it will not kill them. You know the sacred Eshavor, which is the word of power. The secret things that I have told you that may not now be told to all the world, you will make known to loyal Eshan, who will in turn reveal them on to other loyal Eshan. The time has come when all the world may hear and comprehend the Eshavors of truth and power. And now I will ascend to the Yahweh, as you and all the world must rise up before the Yahweh. So when we are Alvavatazer, we're buried with Yahshuah, and we stay there in the grave. We're in a covenant relationship, but in the grave we are buried, waiting to rise from this death, waiting to be married. Going back to Anna's question again, because she was asking about the spirit. And at the moment we receive the spirit is when we metaphorically raise from death, this death. So in the beginning, we're a servant, but when we receive the spirit and rise from death, we are then adopted as sons, as stars. Okay? Not a son meaning a male, but as a sun, meaning a star. We become stars with the star before the Yahweh. You must see and read it for yourself. Upon the day of the Pentecost, you all will all be endowed with power from on high, from the eye of the return, from the sun is what that means. On high, that's the eye of the return. There's the GH. We talked about the GH, the return. There's the harvest. This is what the harvest is all about. This is the great harvest, what it's talking about. But here you must remain until then in all pure thoughts and light creation. Light creation meaning prayer. Then Yahshuah went to the Mountain of Olives. And just to, well, that's the word we can do. Anna, don't let us forget when we do the words on the next program, prayer. We'll do prayer also, and I'll explain how light creation is right in there, because it's all in the words, all in these royal centers, the Eshavors. Then Yahshuah went to the Mountain of Olives, which means the mountain of truth, and his truth seekers followed him. And in a place not far removed from Bethany, he met the Marys and Salome, the royal eye of the true creation, met Martha, Ruth, and Miriam, that'd be Medecine, met Zulazar, that's Lazarus. Lazar, it would be more correct on the term, but then it's got the Zul in front of it, the Zulazar. And this is why, you know, we see this Lazarus was a servant of Abraham. Abraham had a Zulazar. And then Joshua had a son named Eleazar, but it's really Zulazar. It was corrupted in the New Testament to Lazarus. You see, these are all the word games they played with us. And we got to be able to follow the trail, because there's something symbolic about, you know, Abraham having an Eleazar, Zulazar, then Joshua coming out of the wilderness and doing battle had a Ulazar, Zulazar, because it's talking about the vision of a star, having the vision of a star. That's what it means. You see, the servant has a vision of a star, wants to be a star. Get the picture, ladies and gentlemen, how powerful that is. Once you know the meaning of these symbols that are being represented over and over and over, hoping that we get the picture through the repetition, the words, hoping you'll never get the picture. Met Martha, Ruth, and Miriam, met Zulazar, and a host of others who had come from Galilee. And Yahshuah stood apart and raised his hands and breathes the benedictions, the advantages conferred by the enlightenment of the pure anointed one of the Almighty. That's the El Shaddai. There's more to be said about that. The Almighty El Shaddai, the Yahweh, and of the pure anointed breath of the Moleshianke, the pure love of the Yahweh now revealed, will rest upon you completely. And then you will from this death rise up and be seated and ruling with me directly upon the sun throne of power. And then they saw him rise up on the wings of light. A ring of light encircled him about. And then they saw his form no more as he was taken up to the sun through the clouds. But as they gazed up toward the sun, two Ashan in white robes, there's the Essene, appeared and breathed. You Ashan of Galilee, why are you gazing up this way, so anxiously upon the ascending healer in sunrise? It is truth. It is the truth. He comes in this very same way from the sun, just as you have seen him go to the sun throne. Then the 11 and Zulazar and the other Ashan from Galilee, together with the loyal women, not a few, returned into Yarul Eshalom and there remained. And they were continually creating light. with anointed thoughts, thoughts of truth. They were probably having a truth party like nobody could imagine, right? What they must have experienced, right? At the center of the earth, seeing all that. What a, yeah. Okay, continuing here. And they were continually creating light with anointed thoughts while they waited for the pure anointed breath and for the coming of the promised power from on high in the eye of the return. Chapter 36. The facts that Yahshuah had arisen from the dead was not denied by very many of the rulers of the Judean. And Pilate gave an order that the followers of the Nazarene not be molested in their worship any place in his domain. There's Pilate coming to the rescue again, not a murderer. The day of Pentecost was near at hand, and everyone was looking for the manifestation of the Asha Spheres. The Asha Spheres, the Spirit's power. Now in Jerusalem, the 11 had met to choose an Ashan to fill the place of the Judas, who betrayed his healer in sunrise. And KOBO breathed. The healer and sunrise called to this ministry 12 Ashan as 12 foundation stones on which the anointed temple should be built and established. This Judas, who betrayed his healer and sunrise, has gone to his own place beyond the veil. Of him the star navigators wrote, his habitation will be desolate. No Ashan will dwell therein. His office let another take. From those who have accompanied us from Gilgal, that's where the stone rolls away, roll away the stone, Gilgal, where the herald Alvavatazer until this day, will another one be chosen to complete the number 12, to fill the place from which our brother by transgression fell. And the 11 spent a long, long time in light creation. And when they drew their lots, Matthias from the valley of the Nile was chosen for the place. Matthias was an Israelite indeed, but he was learned in all of the wisdom of the Hebrew schools in Medecine, that being Hierapolis primarily. And he had taught the mysteries of the Medecine in Jericho. The mysteries of the Medecine, the mother stars of the many. He was among the first to greet the herald, among the first to recognize the Nazarene as the Mudjekeewis, the seed of the sun. He had been with the anointed band in all of their journeys, the anointed group, probably should say group, of all their journeys in the land of Galilee, Judea, and Samaria. A messenger was sent who found Matthias, and he came and joined the 11, and for a time the 12 were lost in silent light creation. The anointed who had come from Galilee and other places in Utah, about 60 were there. That's 120. And KOBO told them about Matthias and how by lot he had been chosen a Malachiyah, an apostle, for the healer and sunrise. The anointed were all enlightened and praised the royal title of the Yahweh, and Miriam, that's Medecine, sang a song of praise. That was the woman that he fell in love with, that he would not marry when he was in Medecine, his testing in the temples of Hierapolis. That was the one he loved, not Mary of Magdala, as they're propagating that big lie. This was the one that was his greatest test, was with this woman when he met her there, and she was playing on the harpsichord the songs of Israel, and that was his greatest challenge. But he told her that because she wanted to give her hand to him in marriage, and he said he couldn't do it because he came to earth to teach us the greater love, a greater love that was of the mind and not of this world. So so he broke her heart, and then but she's in the story. You know, she's in this story here, and anyway, this is evidence again that it was not Mary Magdalene. This is a propagated fraud on our tradition, because Mary Magdala represents idolatry, whoredom, you see. And so that's why they wanted him mated to her. Continuing, these are the titles of the Meleke Yalaim, the Meleke Yalaim of the healer and sunrise: Kefe, Peter; Yalgenun, John; Yalkove, James; Philippe, Philip; Yantrav, Andrew; and Neshanzul, Nathaniel; Toma, Thomas; the seed of light, James; the son of Aphilius, Eshamon, Simon; Zelotes, Simon Zelotes; Matueshalah, Matthew; Yuta, Jude; the son of Aphilius as well; and Matthias. Okay, so there's some names for you right there, Anna. You're gonna have to get the book. We're gonna have to get it to you. I guess I could pop that in. I don't know if I could pop that in. Let me. I'll tell you what. I'll finish the read, and then I'll come back because I don't want to distract from the read, and then I'll pop that in. Okay, I'll see if I can do that. So now, when the day of last chapter, 37. Now, when the day of Pentecost had come, YoChelleG was filled with devout Judean and proselytes from many lands. Proselytes as converts. They had the con put on them by the priesthood. The anointed were all together in perfect harmony. And as they sat in silent light creation, they heard a sound like a distant rumbling of a coming storm. The sound grew louder and still louder until, like thunder blasts, lightning strikes all around them, they filled the room where the Meleke Yalaim were seated. A brilliant light appeared, as many thought the building was on fire. 12 spheres that seemed like balls of fire fell from the sky, a ball for every sign of the entire zodiac of the cosmos, and it was on the head of each of the Meleke Yalaim that there appeared a flaming ball of the Freya. The Freya is fire, the light above. And each sphere sent 7 tongues of fire toward the sky. And each Meleke spoke in the 7 dialects from the center of the earth's known regions. The ignorant crowds treated lightly what they heard and saw. They breathed, "These Eshan are drunk and do not know what they are breathing." The Eshan of learning were astonished. They breathed, "Are not these Eshan who speak all Judean? How is it that they speak in all the tongues of the known earth?" And Kefe breathed, "You people of YoChelleG, and you who live beyond the city's gates, Shalom, peace be for you and for all Eshan kind. This is the time that the pure Eshan from ancient time desired to see. By the victory of light they saw this hour, and now they stand with us in ecstasy." The star navigator Joel, in the old times told of these things that you now see and hear. The pure breath speaks with his tonki, with his tongue, and breathes. And it comes to pass in the end of time that I do breathe upon the seed of the moon and fill them with the enlightenment and with purity. Your sons, your zans and daughters will stand out and speak truth, while you younger Eshan will be visionaries, and your older Eshan will define the dreams and the visions. And I will present the movement of the one in the sun above with marvelous signs upon the earth. Sounds will proceed from the sky, and a voice will be heard that Eshan will fail to comprehend. The sun will fail to shine, and the moon will be stained in blood at the time of the coming of the great age of the healer and sunrise. And it does come to pass that they who call upon the royal title of the Yahweh in their victory of light, that's faith, that's conviction, they will be redeemed. Viction, no con. This is the golden age of the anointed power, the age that he, the Eshan from Galilee, is risen up in the sun. He is the sunrise, ladies and gentlemen. He is the sunrise. Get the picture. He came as veve, a baby in, there's your sound wave, veve, baby in Bethlehem. No B, it's a V. And from his day of birth, the Cain's kings of the earth, the Cain's kings of the earth, went forward with the intent to take his life. Yahweh, the Yahweh, held up and protected him in the palm of his hand. Eshan called him Yahshuah,